Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. Big update. Yes, Clare Bronfman has actually pled guilty. Now, earlier today it was speculated that she would do so, but now it has broken through. It has broken out. She has pled guilty. Now, there are a few things we have to take away from this. Number one, nobody, in my opinion, nobody is untouchable. This is a billionaire's daughter, a billionaire herself. This is somebody who was at the most upper echelon of the social food chain. Now, there are some problems with this. It's a sweetheart deal. Is it an Epstein sweetheart deal? Well, just by the charges, the minimum charges, no, not as bad as Epstein, but not good. Not good by any means. So what I want to do is I want to show you the first article here that kind of whitewashes a little bit. Seagram's liquor heiress Clare Bronfman pleads guilty in NXIVM cult prosecution. So she's looking at a 21 to 72 month sentence in prison and is going to have to pay $6 million out. Here's the thing. She can contest anything, I believe, that is over 27 months in this Reuters article. I believe that's yes. If it's 27 months or less, she cannot appeal the prison sentence. But at the max, she's going to get 72. And guys, she downplayed what really happened by so much. By so much. And we're going to get into that in a moment because, I haven't read through the whole thing, but I have shown everybody some excerpts here. And yes, they did release this document. And it was basically saying, hey, Claire is at the head of this. She's the one that's the head. And I've been saying that since the get-go, that Raniere was some type of frontman. By the way, Raniere's the only one still on trial now. Also a huge problem. So let's see what she actually pled guilty to, because they didn't really tell you here. Seagram heiress Clare Bronfman pled guilty on Friday to harboring an illegal immigrant. Harboring an illegal immigrant. Are you kidding me? We know that Salzman had to plead guilty to basically kidnapping and imprisoning two women in a room for over 2 years and threatening to send them back to Mexico. What does the billionaire plead to? Harboring an illegal immigrant and enabling credit card fraud as an alleged sex cult based in upstate New York. Peanuts. Peanuts compared to what she was involved in. Is it better than nothing? Yes. It's better than nothing, but as you know, this ran into Mexico. There's still talk that one of the alleged victims of Raniere, who was 15 at the time, who's heading up the NXIVM branch in Mexico, who's connected again to the ex-president of Mexico, Salinas' son. You can see pictures of Raniere and the Bronfmans with this person. Supposedly may come and testify on behalf of Raniere, but I think that they're going to work out a plea deal with him as well and try to brush the rest of this controversy under the rug. Look, you look at Clare Bronfman and those two charges. You read this. Okay? We're going to look it up. Presidential. All right. So this is just a racketeering charge we're going to go through. Okay? Just a small little racketeering charge, except for it's a racketeering charge involving Hillary Clinton. See, this doesn't have to come out on a big level. You'll have to watch somebody like Jason Burmis to find this out. Who knows, maybe tomorrow's News Today will cover it because it's kind of left and right, but it's not. It's right and wrong. So anyway, she was really going to be charged in racketeering, one of the smaller things in this legal document, this memorandum, but I'm going to read it to you. At trial, the government intends to introduce witness testimony and documents demonstrating that in 2007, the defendants and their co-conspirators were involved in an illegal scheme to exceed contribution limits to a presidential primary campaign. Witness testimony corroborated by documentary evidence will demonstrate that at least 14 members of NXIVM community, including at least 5 defendants and co-conspirators, made the maximum campaign donation to a primary campaign with the understanding that they would be reimbursed by who? Bronfman or Nancy Salzman. Nancy Salzman happens to not be a billionaire, so she's going to get a little bit more time. However, from what I understand, I don't know that she's going to be charged in this. So what's happening? We're going to get back to the actual charge in a second, but this is from 2007. This is how we know it's Hillary Clinton. They didn't want to name her in the memorandum, But her $30,000 fans are here. And in this, they discuss that everybody gave the maximum amount. And that way, again, it's illegal to do this. This is how you launder money into campaigns. It's racketeering. And that's what they were going to charge with. I mean, again, so let's continue. At the suggestion of a political operative who has since pled guilty to an unrelated New York State bribery charge. You gotta love New York, guys. Remember, at the time, Clinton was a senator in New York. She had connections all throughout the state. Think about that. Also involving campaign contributions. The contributions were bundled, remember, illegal, and presented to the candidate at a fundraising event attended by conspirators, including Nancy Salzman. A cooperating witness who attended the event will testify that the defendants and their co-conspirators made the contributions in hopes of obtaining what? Political influence to advance their own agenda, including targeted, perceived enemies of Raniere. The government will also seek to introduce evidence of similar conduit contributions to other elected officials, as well as the use of political lobbyists in attempt to gain influence. This had so much to do with the inner workings of high-level politics, and they're brushing it completely under the rug with this guilty plea. Now, last week, 1 week ago today, it was largely ignored that Raniere's trial got delayed. It was actually supposed to be begin in the end of April, probably the beginning of next week. But I feel like the prosecutors wanted to push his trial back so they could work out finalized deals with Mack, who pled guilty last week, and now Bronfman. That was what was going on. So now we're going to see what actually happens to Raniere. But, you know, Frank Parletto, give him credit. I don't agree with everything he's got to say. But in that document, it confirms Bronfman was directing NXIVM and doing much, much worse. She was at the forefront of that organization. It was not Keith Raniere. Let me repeat that. It was not Keith Raniere. Keith Raniere was kind of used as this conduit, this cult-like figure, but I think in the end, what is he? He's a convenient scapegoat for what we know was an operation using powerless women as sex toys who were made to feel empowered. And this didn't just happen in New York by all the witness accounts, by the memorandum, by the investigating officers. So the question is, when are we going to say to ourselves, all right, this is out there. What can we do to actually shine more light on this so it does not happen again or continue to happen? Now, I suspect the vast majority of this operation that still may be involved with the Bronfmans or Salinas is now very carefully being moved away from Raniere and the NXIVM name and brand. I can almost guarantee you that. But if you think that the people that are gaining from this are going to lose power over it, I doubt it. Again, when this woman, first of all, can appeal a sentence of 27 months. So if she gets sentenced to more than 27 months, a little bit more than 2 years, she can appeal. Let's say she even got 27 months. Remember, it's a 21 to 72 month max sentence. Let's say they gave her 24 months. Do you think she's going to spend that? No, she's going to be out on parole or good behavior. Who knows? Maybe they'll give her work release. Look at Anthony Weiner. He gets a sweetheart deal of what? I think it was under 2 years, maybe even 15 months, and he got 3 months out for good behavior. Over in a halfway house, meeting up with people to get into the privatized marijuana industry here in New York, which, by the way, is completely kept out of the public's hands. Just so you know, you can only go for a medical license to distribute marijuana in New York as of now, as it's not recreationally available. And even to try to get those licenses, folks, let me tell you how it works. It's $5,000 non-refundable, which seems, okay, that's reasonable. You're trying to go into business. Then it's $200,000 that is refundable. But think about that. It's $205,000 liquid cash. And if you do get approved, it costs you that $200,005. So in other words, if you have the $205,000 and get denied, yeah, it's going to cost you $5,000. You get nothing. But you still have to have $205,000 just to enter the game. But don't worry. Weiner, he seems very trustworthy. I really want him at the helm of that business. Oh, folks, Listen, we hit 14,000 subscribers today. We're trying to get to 15,000. If you're not subscribed, if you just came to this channel, make sure to subscribe. Ring that bell so you get notifications. And I got to tell you, I'm going to be going through this entire document, and we're going to go through the highlights of this memorandum, especially now that we have Salzman, who's pled guilty, Mack, who's pled guilty, and now Bronfman, who's pled guilty to some of the lower end charges that really scream to me that this is going to be whitewashed altogether and covered up, essentially, at least the darker aspects of this. So again, look for me, maybe even later tonight, but definitely over the weekend with some more breaking NXIVM stuff. I'll also more than likely be bringing you brand new MK Ultra videos over the week and a ton of other stuff. Also, when we hit that 15K mark, guys, we're going to do an AMA broadcast where we're not only going to go into the chat room, and by the way, I appreciate all the super chats. Thank you guys so much for those. But we're also going to take calls, and we'll see what subjects you guys want me to cover. So once again, thank you guys so much, and remember to get out there and be the change you want to see in the world.